Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Game Hub. I'm your host, GamerK, and it is time to end the first month of 2024. It's the end of January, and it's time for a really good game review. It's a game I've been sleeping on for a long time. I kind of tend to do things a little bit in order when it comes to certain things, like my Kamen Rider reviews, my top 13 Yu-Gi-Oh! Duels. I always do them in beginning order. And I was kind of doing the same thing from a game company called Quantic Dreams, who is one of my favorites when it comes to storytelling games and building path games where your decisions fully affect the overall story. And I do love those types of games. And I've seen kind of a somewhat decline in them in recent years, which, to be honest, I'm okay with, because they kind of had, it was starting to become a trend where every single game was being like this. But the best ones are always out there, like the Telltale series games, Life is Strange, and everything from Quantic Dream, and pretty much everything from, who are they? The people who did Until Dawn, The Quarry, The Devil in Me. I never played those games. I just watched them because I don't do horror. But once again, with the Quantic Dreams games, I've been going in order from Heavy Rain to Beyond Two Souls to... Okay, so they tackled the crime genre, they tackled the supernatural, and now we're going into the sci-fi genre with this game from 2018, Detroit Become Human. Okay, I'm going to be fully honest. Me and my cousin who loved these games, we both played them, and we obviously both had different versions of playing the games. It started with Heavy Rain, and this was the last one they did, and Quantic Dream takes a long time to do their games, and I really love that. They make sure every single one is polished, because they aren't sequels. These are just different games with different stories of a different genre. And now we head into Detroit, which is ironic because I live right across the almost the river of Detroit, kind of. Love being Canadian. So again, 2018, Detroit Become Human came out, and this is such a great game. It's such a great story, great premise. It does feel a little iRobot-ish because of the source material, just a bit. But overall, it does do things very, very unique, and it stays true to the formula that Quantic Dreams constantly does with their games. Having a good amount of choices that feel real and feel like it has consequences. And that's what I love about all three of the games that I played from them. The choices matter, everything works, and as you build the story, again, it just works. So going a bit further into the game, it is, again, obviously, story-based game. In 2038, so 14 years from now, which is kind of weird to say out loud. Oh my God, I'll be in my 40s. Shit. It's weird to think about. The androids have pretty much been replacing the main workforce of a majority of occupations, and they're human-like. Oh my God! It's not just iRobot. This is also Kamen Rider 01. Basically, I mean, the androids have become not sentient, but more having become deviant and have gained sentience of human morality and human emotion. Okay, seriously. iRobot with Kamen Rider 01. This is great. Although this came out first. Okay. iRobot came out first, then this, then 01. But still, same premise. Androids have, some of them miraculously have kind of gained their own sentience after the abuse and after so much that they decide to kind of break free from themselves from their programming and to become their own person and to become alive in their own way. And this story, unlike the previous, okay, that's not true because Heavy Rain does play throughout 4 characters. We play as 3 different characters with 3 unique different stories. Well, it's all the same story, but they have their own individual sections and pathways, which I do love. First, we get Connor, the detective android that is everyone's favorite android. I'm not gonna lie. Connor he's one of those characters that has a sarcastic tone when he talks, but because he's a full android, he doesn't have sarcasm. And I mean, and the way, okay, I'm going to be honest, again, the way the actors in this game talk, the way they go about it, like, you can feel the emotion in it, even though they're not supposed to be emotional. You can feel it, and it works. So so at the beginning of the game, he's called in to handle a hostage situation of a deviant android that was a nanny for a little girl, a rich family. But they found out he was going to be replaced, and that's what awoken him to take the girl hostage onto the roof. Now, during this game, you do get to explore the area that you're in during each chapter. You get to interact with certain objects that kind of that allow different paths to break in. So, but again, it's all up to you and how you choose to play. You may get certain trophies, and again, all trophies depend on the choices and outcomes that go on throughout your story. And of course, you can go throughout the previous chapters and redo them in a different way if you want. And afterwards, we have to meet an old detective Hank, who I love because he is played by the incomparable Clancy Brown. This dude is always a grouch whenever he voices a role, but in a good way. He gives off that rundown alcoholic detective who hates his new partner, and his hate towards androids is, I mean, I'm not going to spoil it, but it's really, really well done, and it's a little cliched, but at the same time, him and Connor throughout the game develop a good amount of kinship, and it especially takes place when Connor wants to go deviant and figure out the big plot of the other 2 characters. It's done very, very well. It's done so effortlessly. And every moment Connor is on screen, you get a little bit of naivete humor, a little bit of irritants because he's an android. He talks. Again, he talks no emotion, but you can feel the emotion when he talks. And again, his sections are, again, more the investigative and the interrogation with other deviant androids. It's great. It's one of my favorite parts of the game. Then we go on to another caretaker character, Kara, who... Oh, Kara, you are an absolute beaut. Did I put you in my top 13? Wait, did I? One second, guys. I just want to double check something. A video I did a good number of years ago. I just want to double check here. Did I? Yes, I am aware I should have gotten this ready beforehand. You don't need to point it out. Can I get a little leeway? I swear, one of these days I'm going to figure out where that voice is coming from, and I'm gonna... Oh, boy. All right, here we go. Yes, I did put you on my list for my favorite video game female characters. Because Kara is an absolute sweetheart. coming back from being fixed and then brought back home to kind of a think Ethan's home from Heavy Rain after the divorce and everything. And then we meet, I can't remember the father's name, but we meet the little daughter, Alice, who is our caretaker. But after our memory was kind of wiped, during her first chapter, we kind of understand how Kara got broken, and it is not good. Really not good. So obviously we are programmed to obey the owner, and to do everything that we can. But after witnessing a little bit of assault in progress, Kara decides to break free of her control. And the way we do it, it's not just done in the cutscene where the mark on their temple starts turning red, indicating they're starting to turn deviant. I love the way that we have to actually physically destroy our programming in order to save Alice from her father. And I love it. It's a great scene, and then we escape. And again, there's multiple different ways all these events can take place throughout the game. But I always try to go for the pacifist route and get everyone to safety as much as I can. It does take a little bit of trial and error, but hey, you know what? That's what turn-off buttons are for, and to continue later. So throughout the game, Alice and Kara have to escape and try to survive, as Kara kind of sees herself now as the mother character, which I do love. And I like how in the chapter where if we can steal some money and get a hotel room, we are able to get rid of our little disc thing, like it's removable, and then we have the option to dye our hair in order to not look like a generic model, because kind of like in iRobot, how they all look the same. It's kind of the same thing with the androids here. Some of them look the same, but some of them can also be changed there in preference. Let me think. What else? So we have to get to freedom somehow, and Kara and Alice have to deal with some of the more creepy aspects of the game, like Zlatko and the carnival, and yeah, it's creepy. But we get to free a cybernetic polar bear. Yeah, I know that doesn't make a lot of sense for people who don't know, but it gets them interested. And also, the guy Zlatko, in a way to describe him, imagine what he does to the androids that come to him for help. Imagine Sid from Toy Story if he was disgusting and even creepier than he was with the toys. Yeah, that's an image. I just thought of that on the top of my head, and as I was playing the game years ago, I was thinking, oh, no, get out! But it's great. Every scenario has a great amount of dread, a great amount of impact, and it just builds up from there. And after the escape there and the friend we make, our whole goal for these characters is to get them to safety so Kara and Alice can be together and escape to Canada and to become humans themselves, basically. And the choices you make with Okay. With the other two characters, the decisions you make will affect Kara and Alice's end journey. So I know it's tempting, but don't be an a-hole. Act like a pacifist. And especially with the next character I'm going to talk about, I am talking about the golden boy of the game, Marcus. Who, for a majority of you female audience members out there, may know him as attractive model dude from Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants 2. And also Grey's Anatomy, if I'm remembering correctly. I don't know. I don't know him from anything else. Marcus is basically a butler, or not much of a butler, more like an assistant to an elderly man who kind of needs the extra assistance. And I do like it. I do like how he treats him more like a son than a servant. And one day he asks Marcus to paint something. And obviously we get to choose what we paint and how we paint it. It's really good. And then the son comes around and not very good, asking for money, and gets into fisticuffs with his father. And we can either choose to be a pacifist or we can choose to let the guy have it. Either way, we get arrested and we get shut down. And we kind of break our own control, and we end up in the junkyard where we have to build ourselves up from all the scrap that we find, which is why Marcus, let's see, does it show in this? Yeah, he is shown to have two different colored eyes because he finds another eye, another ocular nerve from another android in the dump. And we rise up and we join up with a resistance of rogue androids trying to fight for their freedom. And I like how we get a little romance with Marcus and one of the other ones, and your actions will increase the whole thing, which will lead to a great ending near the end of the game. Now, I have covered all three characters. And like I said, your actions throughout each of their stories will affect the overall ending with each character. It's not like their stories affect only their own choices in the ending. It affects the others. For example, if you were able to get Kara, Alice, and their friend to the border, and they're asking the customs officer to let them go, they just want to live in peace. If you chose the pacifist route with Marcus, it's televised and they will let you through. If you choose the violent route, you will be arrested and most likely destroyed. Now, the game does have a lot of twists and turns that change the aspect of the entire game, and I really do love that. There are a couple obvious feats as much as possible, like make the choices matter, or kind of makes you kind of go investigate the areas that you're in, because there are a good majority of the side stuff that will help you unlock more. What may seem like a small, irrelevant fact may in fact change the entire aspect. I'm going to give you each three, one for each character. Something, if you've never played the game and if you're going into it, some things that you definitely need to do. Before you talk to Hank in his house, learn his dog's name and find the picture of his son, because that will unlock some dialogue that is crucial if you decide to have Connor go the deviant route right near the end of the game, which is the best option and gets the best payoff. For Kara, I just remember the guy's name. Kara, Alice, and Luther go to a kind of an underground android railroad kind of thing. There's a book, that's a digital book that changes the cover as you swipe. The officer will be coming to investigate, and you need to be human as much as possible. But if you, on the page, on one of the book pages, it shows your likeness as an android model. So make sure it's not on that before, when the guy comes in, when the cop comes in, or else you're screwed. And for Marcus, let's see, what's a good one for Marcus? Do not let your partner, one of the guys, sacrifice himself at the top of the tower. Don't do it. Also, if you're trying to romance either Faith or Hope, I can't remember what her name is, don't be aggressive about it. Let her, talk to her during this moments, learn about her, and you will get a better relationship out of it. Now, other things about this game. Let's see. Replayability is pretty good, but not right away. If you want to get every single trophy, it's going to take you a long time. Main story for this game is around 12 hours long, and for completionists who try to get every single trophy, it's going to take you about 31 and a half hours to complete that. I did not do that. I'm a perfectionist when it comes to certain games. These types of games, I don't like doing the bad choices. I don't like doing them because that's not what I do. Let's see. There's 32 chapters overall in this game, which is a good length for a game like this. Also, some of the chapters differ depending on how far your character has gone and what paths you decide to take. And the chapters can be changed, again, by certain choices. It makes them either easier or a little bit more difficult for different characters. Okay, this one's kind of a short game review, but it basically covers everything. It's a great game. The graphics, the acting. For a 2018 game, this game still holds up as being one of my favorites of all time. And from Quantic Dream, it's definitely in with a lot of their best games. So, the characters, the story, the choices are actually believable and do have consequences if you fail them or not. And I just gotta love, I love all three characters. Usually in a game like this with multiple playable characters, there's usually like one character I can kind of live without. But for Detroit Become Human, it is a game that has as much soul as it possibly can. And its subject and its material and its whole atmosphere is great. It's a great sci-fi game, and it's definitely one that should be in any collector of decision-making games like this. It's great. GamerK's final verdict for Detroit Become Human gets a very impressive 8 out of 10. It could have been a 9 if maybe they added a bit more sections in the game where the characters don't have to integrate so much into the plot. Like, we can just get some alone time with each character. Like, we get enough of it with Kara and Alice, but with Marcus, they go too much into the rebellion way too quickly. They could have easily just kind of acted like regular humans and did some moments, like maybe he takes Hope to a bar where they actually act like humans so they can kind of see what it's like, play some pool, they can talk, give a little bit more of those moments that kind of make the relationship a little bit better instead of just wham bam right away. With Connor, we get a lot of the investigative areas. And I wish we get some great moments along with Hank, which is great. The chemistry between them is fantastic. But I just wish that we got a little bit more moments of Connor trying to understand more of being human with Hank. Although, again, every moment with them is spot on. So I do get why they kind of limited those kinds of scenes. But overall, it's a fantastic game. And it's a game if you like these types of games, to own. And that's it for this month, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you guys enjoyed the video for this week and for the month. like, comment, subscribe down below. And join me in the beginning of February. Well, not the beginning of February, but my first video for February. Where, you know what, I'm going to be in the mood to laugh. So join me next time where I'll be laughing again at, again, one of my favorite YouTubers that makes me laugh uncontrollably. And with a subject that, you know what, I'm just going to say it. It's basically laughing at Cleveland Browns' best moments. This is GamerK, logging out.